love people from a distance, not because you don't care. You care. Sometimes more than you'll ever say out loud. But there is a glass between you and the people you love. You can see them. You can hear them. You can even reach for them sometimes. But something just below the surface, just behind the eyes, doesn't quite cross over. And you have spent a long time trying to figure out if that's something you chose, or something that happened to you, or if there's even a difference. People have told you you're difficult to read, hard to reach, that you go somewhere when things get emotional, that they never quite know where they stand. And the worst part isn't that they say it. The worst part is, you know exactly what they mean. You feel the glass too. You just don't know how it got there. This video is about that glass, where it came from, why it made complete sense, and what nobody ever told you is on the other side of it. Stay with me, because what's coming is going to change how you see yourself. Before we go any further, I need to say something, because there's a word people use for women like you, cold. And I want you to hear this clearly. That word is wrong. Cold means you don't feel. And you feel. You feel deeply. Sometimes overwhelmingly. Sometimes in ways that would surprise every person who has ever called you cold. The difference between cold and emotionally detached is everything. Cold is absence. Detachment is management. Cold is emptiness. Detachment is a very carefully constructed distance between what you feel and what you allow to reach the surface. You are not cold. You are someone who built a wall. And that wall had a reason. I want you to think back, not to the obvious things, not to the events that everyone would agree were hard. Think smaller than that. Think to the times you cried and were told to stop. The times you needed something, comfort, attention, to be held, and the response was distance, silence, irritation, the sense that your need was inconvenient. Think to the parent who was there, but not really there, who sat across the table from you and was somehow elsewhere entirely. Do you remember what you did with those feelings? The ones that weren't received? You put them somewhere. You had to. Because feelings that have nowhere to go don't disappear. They go inward. They get stored. They get managed. They get tucked into a part of you that you stopped letting other people see. That was not weakness. That was genius. Your nervous system did something remarkable. It adapted. It learned that emotional vulnerability was not safe in this environment, so it built a system that didn't require it. Psychologists call what you developed avoidant attachment. It forms specifically in response to caregivers who are emotionally unavailable, who meet emotional needs with indifference, inconsistency, or withdrawal. The child learns, if I don't reach, I won't be disappointed. If I don't need, I can't be let down. That child was you, and you made it. You got through. You survived something that wasn't survivable for everyone. The glass didn't appear out of nowhere. You built it, one layer at a time, because it was the only thing between you and something that hurt too much. Can I describe something to you? You're in a moment that should feel full. A birthday, a conversation with someone you love, a moment of genuine connection, and something in you is watching it from slightly too far away. You're there. You're participating, but you're also, somehow, not quite in it. You feel things. You feel them more than people think. But by the time they get from the inside to the outside, from the feeling to the face, from the emotion to the words, something gets lost, filtered, reduced to something smaller and safer than what it actually was. Here's what I need you to understand about that buffer you built. It was designed to absorb pain, and it works. But buffers are not selective. They absorb everything. They absorb joy too. They absorb the full force of being loved. They absorb the feeling of surrender, of letting go, of trusting someone completely. And here's the part that will land somewhere uncomfortable. When someone gets close enough to reach you, when someone is consistent enough, patient enough, loves you with enough persistence that you start to feel it, the first instinct isn't warmth. It's panic. The people who love you, or who try to, make the same mistake. They take the distance personally. They read your closed door as a message about their worth. They see your silence after conflict as rejection. They feel the pulled back posture and think, she doesn't love me enough to let me in. And you watch this happen. You see the hurt on their faces. You want to say, it's not you, it was never you. But explaining the wall while standing behind it is one of the hardest things a person can do. Because to explain it, you'd have to go to a place you don't let people see. The wall doesn't know the difference between the person who built the need for it and the person standing in front of you right now. It just knows closeness was where the danger was. And it stays up. Not because you don't love them, because love, to a nervous system that learned what yours learned, is one of the most frightening things there is. Here is something the research shows that almost nobody talks about. Women with avoidant attachment don't want distance. They want connection. The longing and the withdrawal exist in the same person at the same time. You are not caught between wanting closeness and not wanting it. You are caught between two things that feel equally dangerous: being alone and being truly known. And living in that gap, day after day, takes a kind of strength that nobody sees. Because from the outside, it just looks like you're fine. If this is landing for you, if you're nodding or feeling something you haven't had words for before, this channel is where that happens every week. Subscribe. You've already earned it for staying this far. Everyone talks about what your detachment costs other people. The relationships that crack under the weight of your distance. The partners who eventually stop trying. The friends who drift because you never quite let them close enough to anchor to. Nobody asks what it costs you. So I'm asking, what have you not let yourself have? What moments of surrender, of being held, of falling apart in front of someone safe, slipped past because the wall went up before you could stop it? What does it feel like to watch someone love you, really love you, and not be able to fully receive it? To feel it arrive at the glass and not know how to let it through? Emotional detachment is not a superpower. It is not strength. The woman who handles everything alone, who never seems to need anyone, who always appears fine, she is not stronger than the woman who cries. She is carrying more. She just carries it where nobody can see. There is a grief in emotional detachment that most people never name. The grief of a life partially lived, of love partially received, of a version of yourself you sometimes catch glimpses of, open, soft, fully there, and wonder what it would feel like to live there more often. Here's the truth about emotional detachment that therapy knows, and nobody else says clearly enough. It is not permanent. It is not who you are. It is a pattern, deeply ingrained, completely understandable, but a pattern, and patterns can change. Research on avoidant attachment is actually hopeful. People with this pattern who do the work, therapy, self-awareness, relationships with people who are patient and consistent, show real, measurable changes in how safe closeness feels over time. The nervous system can learn new things. It takes longer than we'd like, but it learns. But here's what I want you to hear about how change actually begins. It does not start with deciding to feel more. It does not start with forcing yourself to open up before you're ready. It starts with understanding, with sitting with what you've heard today and asking, when did this begin? What was I protecting? What would it mean to need that protection less? It starts with acknowledging, maybe for the first time, that the wall was not a character flaw. It was a solution, a brilliant, necessary, life-preserving solution to a problem that was real. And then, slowly, asking, is the problem still the same problem? Because you are not 7 years old anymore. The people around you are not the people who built the need for the wall. And the nervous system, brilliant as it is, has not always kept up with the change. You are allowed to update it. You are allowed to let the glass thin, just slightly, for someone who has earned it. You are allowed to let yourself be reached, not all at once, not by everyone, but by someone, in some moments, more than before. Back to the glass. It's still there. I'm not going to pretend this video dissolved it. But here's what changed, just in the last 7 minutes. You know where it came from. You know it was built by someone younger and more vulnerable than you are now, someone who needed it more than you do today. You know that the people who called you cold were seeing the wall and calling it you. And you know that those two things are not the same. You are not the wall. You are the person behind it. And for the person who loves someone emotionally detached, for whoever sent you this video, or whoever you're going to send it to, I want to leave you with this. Her detachment is not about you. It is not a verdict on your love. It is a very old response to a very old danger. And it was built long before you arrived. The most loving thing you can do is not push the door open. It's to be someone who is still standing there when she decides to open it herself. Because emotionally detached women do open the door. Not easily, not quickly, not for everyone, but for the right person in the right moment. With enough time and enough safety and enough consistency, the glass thins, the door opens, and what's on the other side of it is worth every moment of the wait. She was worth waiting for. She always was. Drop a comment below. Are you the emotionally detached woman in this video, or are you someone who loves one? Both answers matter. Both are exactly who this video was made for. And if this reached someone you've been trying to understand, someone whose distance has confused you, send it to them. Not as a diagnosis, not as an accusation, as a door. If this video gave you something, a word for something you've always felt, or a way to understand someone you love, there's more where this came from. Subscribe to Wired Minds. New psychology content every week, made for women who want to understand themselves more deeply. I'm Wired Minds. See you in the next one.